Hello everyone, Charles Watts here. As you can see behind me, I'm here at the Arsenal training centre for Mikel Arteta's press conference ahead of tomorrow's game against West Ham. We're hearing from him in about an hour. We'll put back on after this to go through some of the big talking points, some interesting stuff to come out. I would think team news, obviously, who's going to be fit, who's not going to be fit to play against West Ham, and within about the last half an hour, there's been strong reports coming out of possible talks with West Ham over a loan deal for Emile Smith Rowe until the end of the season. Doesn't make much sense to me, that one, but we'll see what, if anything, Mikel Arteta has to say about that. So, be back soon with all the latest from Mikel Arteta's press conference. Right, so we're done here at London Colney after Mikel Arteta's press conference. I was going to record this standing outside, but it is just too cold out there, so I've come in my car. So apologies, the setting is probably not quite so nice behind me, but yeah, can't handle it. It's too cold for me, Anyway, an interesting press conference from Mikel, obviously kind of done amid the backdrop of the story about Emile Smith Rowe, or the stories about Emile Smith Rowe, which started to break just before the press conference begun. And before I get into what Mikel said, in terms of my information on Emile Smith Rowe, I'm told very much that his focus is absolutely purely on Arsenal for now, and it will be until the end of the season. Obviously, at that point, depending on how things have gone, things might have to be reassessed. But for now, his focus is purely on Arsenal. He doesn't want to go anywhere, and he's determined to try and force his way into Mikel Arteta's plans between now and the end of the season. So that's my information on the things from the players' side, from Arsenal's side as well. What I'm sort of hearing is that there is no indication at all that they are willing to do any sort of business when it comes to a loan move for Emile Smith Rowe. And I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Why on earth would you do that? If someone was laying down 50 million on the table or something like that, 40 million on the table, then maybe you'd think they have to probably think about it, because let's face it, he's not getting any minutes really for Arsenal, and he certainly hasn't yet. And so if a big came in, maybe they would think about it. For a loan move at this stage of the season, you're just weakening what's already a stretched squad for the second half of the season, just for the sake of sending him out on loan to a Premier League rival. So it just makes no sense to me whatsoever. And as far as I'm aware, Arsenal have absolutely no interest in it happening, and Smith Rowe doesn't have any interest in it happening as well. And West Ham, the leaks have obviously come from West Ham's side of things when it comes to this one. And maybe they want to be seen to be doing something with their fans in terms of trying to make things happen, trying to make transfers happen as we get towards the end of the transfer window. But yeah, certainly what I'm hearing, as it stands, very much it's a non-starter. And I did ask Mikel about it. I'm just getting the quotes up. I asked him about it in the press conference, and he said, I'm really happy with Emile. He's on the right trajectory, and now he's settled. He's training really well, and you know that I won't be talking about any individual situation, which is something that he always says when you ask about any potential transfers ins and out. I then said to him, so, have you seen a sign of Smith Rowe? Has something changed? Does he look ready now to make a big impact on the team? And he says, no change. Emile is Emile. He's got incredible qualities, and we are really happy to have him. What he needs now is chances to put all the qualities that he has on the pitch. In order to do that, we have to give him minutes. And that's a big thing now. Is Mikel going to give him minutes? Is he going to find a way of giving him minutes between now and the end of the season? Hopefully he will. I've heard again that he was really on it in Dubai, training really well in Dubai, and he's just determined to try and get an opportunity, and hopefully he will get one at some point. Elsewhere, we'll look at sort of what Mikel had to say team news wise, what he had to say about Jurrien Timber's recovery. Actually, I asked him about Jurrien Timber following that video, of course, that we all saw when he was over in Dubai, which looked really promising in terms of his fitness, doing work on the pitch, doing work on the grass with the ball, turning quite sharply on those knees. So I asked him about that. So I got some comments from Arteta on that, on the potential of signing anyone this transfer window. Not really too exciting a response from him on that, but yeah. So I'll go through some of them now. Apologies, I'm gonna have to look away from the screen to do this because I've got my laptop sitting in front of me on my dashboard here in my car, so I can see the quotes and read them to you if you haven't seen them already. So on the latest team news, he wasn't giving much away, Mikel, at all. He said, we still have a few who we haven't managed to get back yet. Hopefully they are much closer and in a better place than expected. So that's what he had to say on the team news. He was then asked, then he added, individually, I'm not going to tell you exactly how everybody is, but we are still missing a few. He was then asked about Gabriel Jesus and the fact that he's been training, and he said, we are touch and go with a few. So he was just in that sort of mood, Mikel, when it came to talking about players. But yeah, I think Zinchenko you can certainly class as a very, very big doubt for this game. Gabriel Jesus, look, he's been training, so I'm fully expecting Gabriel Jesus to play in this one. He was then asked about the training camp in Dubai. He said it was great. A phenomenal camp in every sense. We recharged our batteries. The togetherness and the moments we shared together were great. We are fully recharged. And apparently Mikel's been in really good mood around the place. The players have been in really good mood around the place since they've got back. People have been saying it's noticeable how they just do have a little bit of a spring in their step having gone back through Dubai. So hopefully that's going to lead to improved, not so much performances, but certainly results on the pitch. Because as I said, I didn't think the performances were too bad before they went away anyway. On whether Arsenal's chances of signing a striker have changed this month. Of course, before they went away, he said it was unrealistic. Whether that has changed, he said no. And then said, because I love the players that we have. So, yeah, anyone excited about potentially signing a player? It doesn't look like that is going to happen. It's certainly not a striker anyway. And about Timber, this is what I asked him. You know, the video looked good. It got Arsenal fans excited. Could he still play this season? And he said there is a possibility. But at the moment, he is still very, very far from competing, and that's the reality of it. Are we hopeful that he can have an impact at the end of the season if everything goes well? It looks like there is a chance that that might happen, but I think it's too early to make that call, which was interesting, I thought. Obviously, he sort of tempered the expectation with that last little line, saying, I think it's too early to make that call. But just the fact that he said, and this is the first time I think he said it, where he said, it looks like there could be a chance that he plays before the end of the season. I think that's the first time he said something like that on Timber. So that's really promising. You know, I've always kind of felt like he's probably not going to get any game time this season. I'd be, you know, anything this season that he plays is a bonus for me. But given those comments from Arteta, I thought, ooh, maybe he will get a sort of month or even 6 weeks in between now and the end of the season. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But I thought that was a positive update from Mikel Arteta when it comes to the fitness of Jurrien Timber. Nothing much has really changed in my thinking about team selection. Having listened to what he's had to say there, obviously didn't give too much away, but certainly what I was talking about in this morning's video, where I felt like Zinchenko probably wasn't going to play and Kivior was probably going to play at left back. I think that remains the same. Like I said, nothing's really changed in my opinion, given what I've heard while I've been here. In my predicted 11, I went with Havertz, Odegaard and Rice. I've got to say, the longer this day has gone on, the more I'm thinking maybe he's going to go with Jorginho and Rice together and go with that sort of flat back four and that 4-2-3-1 system we saw against Liverpool. I'm beginning to talk myself out of the predicted 11 I did in this morning's show. So we'll have to wait and see on that. I mean, we'll find out pretty early tomorrow. But those were the main headlines, I think, the main takeaways from today's press conference here at London Colney. Certainly the Emile Smith Rowe stuff, the most interesting. But again, as I said at the start of this video, my information on it is it's pretty much a non-starter from pretty much every single angle. So I wouldn't be too concerned about the talk of Emile Smith Rowe headed out on loan to West Ham for the remainder of the season. All right, that's it from me, everyone. Thank you very much for your time, as always. Do appreciate it. I'll be at the Emirates tomorrow. I'm in the press box, not in the stands, so I'm actually I'm in the press box for this one. So all the usual live updates from me. If that's the sort of thing you like when watching the games, then you'll be able to get that tomorrow. So stay tuned. Until then, have a very good start to your weekend, everyone. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.